Everyone, please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Okay, Ashley, can I have a roll call, please?
Erickson,
Here.
Briggs,
Here.
Cavalier,
Here.
Pressel, Platt,
Here.
Bedbrotten,
Here.
Melby,
Here.
Jurdy,
Here.
Okay, this brings us to the open forum, Crookston forum. Would anybody like to address the council on any issue not already on tonight's agenda? May come to the podium, state your first and last name and address, please. Hearing none. Chad, anybody on the phone bridge? No, sir, I will close the bridge. Thank you.
Agent logged off.
Right, we got a couple public informations, one presentation tonight. We'll start with Crookston Visitor Bureau. Annual report. Thanks, Corey.
Hey, I'm Corey Gallagher. I'm with the CVB and also I'm also at the American. So if you're wondering who I am. It's been a busy last year here for the CVB here in town with the new structure and the new moving forward. So we got the business guides out this year. About 10,000 were given out to different visitor centers across the state and Grand Forks, Fargo, Moorhead area, down to the cities and all that, all around the state. I think they're almost all gone, the ones we dispersed, and probably looking at getting some new ones made again just for the coming up. We worked with the Crookston High School trades class, did some stuff with the visitors signs. So all 4 hotels and the City Hall, Crookston High School, the UMC Welcome Center, and they had spots to display the welcomes or visitors guides. Sorry, I wasn't reading right here. And they were dispersed at the Fertile Fair, the UMC graduation, Oxcart Days, and the basketball tournament, hockey tournaments were all given out at all the different events in town. We also created a new website, and it's also linked to the City of Crookston's page as well. And we created a QR code sticker, which features our downtown all our restaurants in town, dining and shopping, all in town, and stickers are placed all over at the hotels and all different places in town. We also had updated and dispersed a City of Crookston map and trails map for visitors. I know that was a big hit. Everybody was asking about where certain things were in town, how to get around, kind of from the hotels, where to go. And we also updated, created a budget for 2022 based off the first year of operation. And we also created a job description, salary range for a new tourist coordinator that we posted in December. And we'll be starting here in January, so that's kind of exciting. And we also helped with the new entrance signs project with the City of Crookston and Minnesota DOT, the high school trades class, total lawn care and landscaping and outdoor solution landscaping project, which was completed in August, right before Oxcart Days. So that was kind of nice, the new visitor signs entering into Crookston. We also renovated and relocated the old Welcome to Crookston signs to Downtown Square. We also did welcome bags dispersed to longtime the pipeline workers staying in Crookston, which also included snacks and water coupons to local businesses, restaurant menus, and also welcome bags to the Blue Line Club tournament. And then we also did some tracking, what brings you to Crookston, and that was given to kind of a track thing at every hotel. They would ask everybody checking in, what brings you to town, if they're coming here for business, hockey, any tournaments, all that kind of stuff. So we also dispersed out some grant money. We did $3,000 in grants to the Crookston Oxcart Days, another $3,000 to the Dart Divas tournaments that's going to be held in February this year, and a $1,000 grant to the go-kart races that were held at the River Show building down there. And also did some grant request criteria on our website, so you know how to apply, kind of making it easier for that kind of a thing. We also partnered up with the Riverland Group, which is Red Lake River, Crookston, Fertile, Red Lake Falls, St. Hilaire, and Thief River. It's joint ads, photo ops, and promos linked to our website. And then we also joined the Pine to Prairie International Birding Trail, which contains of 22 other sites linked to our website. And then we also worked with the Crookston Chamber, the Downtown Development, and the Crookston Beautification Committee, and renewed focuses on the downtown and the different locations in town. Working with the Crookston with the Welcome to Crookston bags with the Crookston Chamber, and giving out to new residents of Crookston and visitor guides and all that kind of stuff in the bag. And then we also work to promote new events coming to town. We've been working with different things, trying to get long-term stays with the pipeline workers. So it's been kind of a busy time for the CBB. Is there any other questions, I guess, for me?
Been busy.
Yeah, it's been a busy year and been doing a lot of different things promoting, and we've been on the news, the TV, kind of different things around the area, so.
Okay, job well done. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, we have a proclamation. City of Crookston Mayoral Proclamation to declare Highland Elementary School a best elementary school for the year 2021-2022 school year. Whereas Highland Elementary School was recognized by U.S. News and World Report as the best elementary school. And whereas Highland Elementary School was among the top 30% of elementary schools in Minnesota. And whereas in a Minnesota Department of Education survey, 98% of the students reported they felt cared for by Highland Elementary teachers and staff. And whereas Highland Elementary School has been recognized by the Minneapolis Star and Tribune for beating odds by performing better than expected based on various subgroups by roughly 10% in reading and math. And whereas Highland Elementary School was interviewed by the Minnesota Department of Education last year because our homeless students were the highest academic performing students in the state of Minnesota. And whereas Highland Elementary School's Indian education students are among the top performing students in the state of Minnesota year after year in math and reading. And now therefore, I, Dale Stainbrook, Mayor of the City of Crookston, do hereby proclaim Highland Elementary School a best elementary school for the 2021-2022 school year. In testimony whereof I hereunto to set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Crookston, Minnesota, do hereby proclaim Highland Elementary School a best elementary school. Chris. Thank you. Job well done.
Thank you.
Guess they want a picture. Tina, you want to join us?
Come on, Dina.
I'll be bashful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Yes. And I just want to say thanks on behalf of everybody at Highland School. We have tremendous teachers. We have tremendous kind of special support groups. We have a phenomenal titled program that helps kids in math and reading, special education, speech pathology, just Tara Miller in the social workers department that we have. I think really go above and beyond as well as our teachers do also, but we just have some phenomenal special groups that do amazing work with kids, especially kids of needs for math and reading, academics especially. So we're trying to, what they say in Minnesota, our big goal is try to close the achievement gap. So the low achieving students, the high achieving students, our goal is to try to bring that bottom up as close as we can to the higher group. So anyways, thank you for the proclamation, and it's a job well done, not by me, but by the staff at Highland School, so thank you.
Thank you. Well, hats off to your staff. Okay, there's one more presentation. It's the Employee Years of Service Award to the City of Crookston, and I'll let Amy handle that one.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I just want to take a moment to read through a list of our employees that have reached certain milestones with the city and celebrate them publicly. We have offered opportunities to do some celebrations with our staff, but want to make sure the public can celebrate them as well. 5 years of service to the city of Crookston is Andrea Prudhomme in our Parks and Recreation Department and Katie Hahn in our Police Department. 15 years of service to the city of Crookston is Shane Helstab in our Fire Department and Shane Mendez in our Police Department. 20 years of service to the city of Crookston is Kent Ellingson in our Fire Department. And 25 years of service is Tim Frober, Fire Department Fire Chief, and Dacian Bennick, Police Department. So thank you, all of you, for your years of service to the city of Crookston.
Okay, this brings us to approve agenda. To the agenda, does anyone wish to add or remove anything from tonight's agenda?
Your Honor,
Ashley?
under the regular agenda, item 8.04 is a resolution approving the Eagles Small Cities Development Loan. A change has been made in the highlighted area, should be 2022 instead of 2020, Your Honor. Also, under the regular agenda, remove items 8.05 and 8.06 due to not having to cancel the closed special council meeting for the absence of a council member.
Thank you, Ashley. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Thank you. Clayton, is there a second?
I'll second.
Go ahead.
Christie, discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Erickson,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Van Brunton,
Aye.
Melby,
Aye.
Dirty.
Aye.
And this brings us to the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove anything from the consent agenda? Can I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Second?
Second.
Second by Don. Now roll call, please.
Erickson,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Van Brunton,
Aye.
Melby,
Aye.
Dirty.
Aye.
Okay, no public hearings. This brings us to the regular agenda. Ashley?
Yes, Your Honor. Item 8.01 is a resolution to appoint Darren Selzler as the new police chief.
I have a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved, Your Honor. I'll make that motion.
Got Don and Clayton.
Second.
Discussion?
Your Honor, if I could just say a couple things. I am proud that we have an employee that has invested himself in promotion opportunities. He has earned the respect of our community and of the officers that work for the Crookston Police Department. Lieutenant Selzler has worked very closely with Chief Biermeyer to help with the operations at the police department, develop strategies at the police department. I am really excited to recommend Lieutenant Selzler to be our next chief of police for the city of Crookston upon Chief Biermeyer's retirement.
Thank you, Amy. Further discussion?
I just want to add to that too, is he's gone over and above what he's done to get this job. He's wanting this job and he's a perfect fit for this job. I just think we'd be crazy not to invest in him all the time he's invested, and he's been here, he lives here, he knows the system, so he'll be a great asset.
Thank you, Steve.
I agree with Steve. He not only been with the department and stuff like that, he's furthered his education to achieve professionalism in being an
I didn't
chief.
understand that.
Speak up.
That's a classic. All right, thanks, Clayton.
I agree with whatever you said, Clayton.
Further discussion?
I would just say, Amy, you know, Darren is good of a fit with what we did with Brandon and bring up to department. I'm excited to have him on staff, so it's exciting to see internally the promotion and that we just have really good people for those
I
jobs.
agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Christie. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Erickson,
All right,
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Bed Brunton,
Aye.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy.
Aye.
Motion carries. Paul and Darren, few words?
Yeah, a few, thank you. I appreciate that. Obviously, I have formally let Amy know of my intended retirement, February 28th. Just real briefly, I started running ambulance in 1982, so I've been doing this red lights and siren thing for about 40 years, and I'm done. I'm getting there. I don't need to do this anymore. So I started with the city and the police department March 1st of 1990, so my last day is going to be February 28th, so it'll be exactly 32 years. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I don't want to, you guys said a lot of what I was going to say about Darren and about how the city has fostered some of our internal promotions. City's done a good job at that. I have all the confidence in Darren. He's got the ability, he's got the knowledge. Again, he's prepared himself educationally. Honestly, I'm relieved that Darren's going to take it over. 32 years, it's good to see somebody fill those shoes. I'm not anxious to leave in the way that I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just anxious to go. And I think he's probably more anxious to see me get the hell out of here so he can take over. So leave it at that. Let Darren have a few words.
More than anything, I'd just like to thank Amy, City Administrator, Mayor Dale Stanbrook, and the council for the vote of confidence. I think I got series vote too, I'm not sure, but I'm going to take that as a yes. Again, thank you so much for this opportunity. I've worked really hard for many years to position myself for this. I was very fortunate to have Chief Biermeyer as my predecessor. Like City Administrator Amy said, we've worked shoulder to shoulder together for many years, and we're continuing that as the transition comes closer. It'll be a seamless transition and business as usual when he leaves. Again, I'm very passionate about law enforcement. I love the city of Crookston. I was born and raised here, raised my children here. And I just really look forward to the many years ahead of working with city staff, council, and the residents of Crookston. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Okay, moving on. Ashley.
Item 8.02 is a resolution authorizing the partial payment for the Polk County Highway Department. Project Fisher Avenue -212 C0C-001.
Thank you, Ashley. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Thank you, Don. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Wayne. Thank you. Discussion. Amy, a little brief on this one?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to ask if Brandon and/or Rich can provide just brief comments on this item. Okay, don't fight over it, guys. Okay.
So I'll talk about the part I know the most about is the water portion. So there was 123,000 of this is for the water main extension down Fisher Avenue from Barrett. I don't know, what was it, 600? Barrett to Ikoff, I think it was like 600 feet or something like that. So that was, we were testing the hydrants about a year ago, and the fire protection out on that new addition of Ikoff was getting to the lower acceptable levels. So getting that 12-inch run down Fisher Avenue and getting it looped brought them, they went from 600 gallons a minute back up to 12 or 1,300 gallons a minute. So Tim should be happy about that. So, and then
Yeah, that's the majority of the partial payment. The other portions were, we had 3 hydrants that we removed from the ditch that was on the south side of the road that weren't being used anymore, so we pulled those out. Some culvert replacements underneath Evergreen Drive in St. Mary's, and then some storm sewer. They kind of prorated it, some of the drainage that was coming off of city property under the county right away, for some storm sewer improvements there. So, but the majority of it was the water main, and the rest was just the miscellaneous items there, so.
Thank you.
When you talk about the storm sewer, some of that water that we get out there in the spring, is some of that gonna get out of there quicker?
Yes, it should. Now, with the, instead of trying to drain it through the ditches all the way down to Barrett Street, we have storm sewer now behind the walking paths, all the way down. So we shouldn't have water standing there in the spring anymore. So.
That would take care of Pirate Drive too there and the new apartment complex
Yes,
there.
yeah, we did. So we did put some over there as well. That's one area that was a city share. So that should help with the snow melt instead of having that roadway flooded every spring.
Right, or a 3-inch rain or.
Yep, exactly. So.
Good deal.
Thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Erickson,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Bedbratton,
Aye.
Melby,
All right.
Jurdy.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Ashley.
Item 8.03 is a resolution approving the participation in the opiate litigation settlements, Your Honor.
All right, do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Christie. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Thank you, Clayton. Discussion. Corky, you want to give us a little update on this topic, please?
Sure. Mayor and members of the council, as you all may know, for a number of years there have been attorney generals from various states who have sued the manufacturers of opioids. They've now reached a settlement, and it's quite a large settlement. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the city of Crookston will not participate. There are grants to the states based on the number of citizens involved. In Minnesota, they first authorized notification of potential grants to cities of 30,000 or more. We are not that. They authorized grants to counties. Most counties will receive funds from this settlement with the manufacturers of opioids. Polk County is one of them. I don't know if you have it, but there's a 4 or 5 page summary of just the percentage that will be allocated to the counties. The counties then will also set up programs, either existing or new, to assist with education, treatment, facilities. Because we are a city of less than 10,000, again, we will not participate. But the Attorney General has indicated that if cities of under 10,000 approve this settlement, it may impact the amount of money that a county in which that city is located would receive. So by ratification of this proposed settlement, Polk County stands to benefit, the city of Crookston stands to benefit. Indirectly, Polk County Nursing is here, and there will be programs, education, treatment programs administered through them. So with a formal ratification, it will help Polk County.
Thank you, Corky. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Erickson,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Bedbratton,
Aye.
Melby,
All right.
Jurdy.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Ashley.
Item 8.04 is a resolution approving the Eagle Small Cities Development Loan, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Clayton. Discussion. Amy, I think a little brief on this one?
Yes, I'm going to give a brief introduction, and then I'm going to ask our finance director to just go through some of the details and the process of this application. It is my understanding, I think this application was first discussed at a Ways and Means meeting in mid-2020. At that point, I don't believe we had received all of the application materials. When Ryan came on, he's worked with Jake Fee at the Eagles to, and with the administrators of the Small Cities Development Program to understand what items we are supposed to collect as part of the application process. And Ryan will explain a little bit of this, but there's some financial pieces that they need to provide, and then we are required to take pictures of the proposed project to ensure that it has not been started or completed, and then pictures afterwards to show the work that was done for our files. And then I will let Ryan, if you will, just kind of walk us through some of the details of this, and then we'll, either one of us will be happy to answer any questions.
Well, I asked Chad to put up some pictures on the slides here so you can see kind of what the scope of their project was. The windows up there is primarily what he's working on, and also in his application, you can see how the outside window pane, the second, has already fallen to the street. You can see the deterioration of the caulking in those windows there. If you look at the outside windows there, that's on the far right side. Then the next slide, this shows the other windows on the front side of the street, right above the entrance there. You can do the next slide. This front here is also going to get changed so that it will mimic the one right to the right of it. And the next slide will show that. So that it will look like that. Jake did start this process back in March of 20. Since I've started, worked with the Small Cities Development Grant Program people to find out what it was that Jake needed. He finally did provide all the bids. He went out and got, I think, 5 different bids. They chose, got the best price bid for the work to be done. What we have to do then with that, we need his financials, we need his tax statements, different records to show that that Eagles is a viable company, that they can afford this loan payment, that it's all within the parameters of the scope of this work. And that's why we take pictures before any of this work is done to assure that if they have the need, it shows by this, and then when this work is done, we'll go back and take the pictures, and then that will complete the whole file for the process of this. And the cheapest bid came in for them was $22,000. This whole file is all pretty much the Eagles loan paperwork of what we have went through to get this done for the Eagles. Yeah, his total for the windows and then that outside structures came in at $22,850. So with this program, half of that cost can be small loan and then grant. And that's what they decided to do. Any questions?
Is there a deadline on this project?
No. As long as the work has not been started and you take pictures, then we can work with the.
So what's the timeline on it started in 2020?
Yeah, he started in March of 20 was the date of the application.
And then he had his bids in before with that application?
No.
No.
With the application, there's a lot of other paperwork that is needed to complete an application, and that's what he didn't know that he needed to complete. So after bringing him into the office and having a meeting with him and the Small Cities Grant people, he understood what he needed to provide, why he needed to provide those things, and then once we got all those papers and went through them, then I was able to go out, take pictures, and then now bring it to you guys.
And I do want to add a quick comment. I wasn't here at the time, but I believe the understanding from the Eagles, and I think Mr. Hoyseth was working with Jake at the time, was that it was approved at Ways and Means. As we have discussed many times and know now, seated as the Ways and Means Committee cannot actually finally approve a council item. And I learned of it from Mr. Hoyseth after I'd been on the job a little while, where it was, and when we started researching it, learned it had not actually made it in front of the body seated as the council. And at that time, we reached out to the Small Cities Development Program to understand what items we had to collect. So there was a lot of lag time that would not be normally expected now with this process of getting an application, gathering the application materials, and then bringing them before you as a council.
So have all of the requirements been met to this date now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So there was another one that did not meet the criteria. And what's the biggest difference between the one that did not and this one that we're probably going to approve?
Can you give me a little bit more information on the one that wasn't approved? How far in the process, I mean, was the application filled out?
Well, that's what I'm asking. So it came to us, I forwarded it on to you, it was the C&P Properties one, I think.
There was never, to my knowledge, an application ever filled out by them. But I did have C&P Properties come into my office with our economic director, Kathy Carlson, so that we all met together and informed them at that time that we couldn't help them because they had already completed the work.
So the biggest difference between the two is the application was not filled out and the project had already been completed.
Yes, and she never brought in any other documentations to me at all.
Okay.
Ryan?
But when she was in the office, I asked her 5 different times, is there anything else that we could help her with? If she had another project that she wanted to look at, or some other things that she wanted to do, to please think about and come back to us and visit with us.
Ryan, is there, I think this is correct, but is there the requirement, the work cannot be started either, right?
Correct.
Okay, which is important for the public to know, and we're gonna work on putting together some materials that can help better advertise what some of our programs are and the criteria. But that's important for people to know. One reason is, maybe you started it yesterday, but if someone started their project 18 months ago and they're 95% complete, you have to really draw that line somewhere. And these monies are pools of money that we're actually re-lending out that have come from state programs. And part of that criteria that they apply in their process, we talked a little bit about it when New Flyer was going through their expansion project. With state dollars, you really have to prove that you need that funding to begin and carry out your project, and that's really what kind of ties us to that. We want to see that you have not started, you've got your bids, and then we can document that, follow it through, and show the completion of that to meet the criteria.
And I thought that that's what was the deal was with this year, this money, is that it was money that had been paid back.
Right.
And the city had it.
Yes.
So that there wasn't, and that's why the city was, through the Eagles, was doing a lot of this through the Ways and Means and stuff, because it wasn't monies from the state, it was money that was paid back to the city.
That is true, but the Ways and Means Committee cannot act officially and approve a resolution, only the body seated as council. Yeah, but that's true. Once it is in our revolving loan fund, and that does come back from repayments through the Small Cities Program. We've done a couple downtown, I think, and maybe one residential before I was here. Those revolving loan dollars, while aren't as stringent on the criteria, still have to be tied back to the original purpose and kind of the criteria of the program that they were repaid under. But that is true, those only have to be approved at the local governing body level and do not have to go back to the state or whatever program for approval through that. We have a similar intermediary relending fund, the IRP loan, that we do something similar with. So it just requires your local governing body approval.
So also to be clear, I mean, our hands are tied if this criteria isn't followed properly, like the application submitted and the work not being started until after the application is in. That's not our call, that's through the small cities.
Yeah, that would fall upon the business owner or the individual
No, I
asking
mean,
for.
The city, he means.
What I'm trying to ask is, we don't make the rules here at the city of Crookston, that's done somewhere else, correct?
Yes, we follow the guidelines set forth by the Small Cities Grant Development people.
Okay.
However, I just want to throw another example out, and this is, it's the B3 grant, and it's through CHEETA, but funded through the city. Similar requirements apply to that as well. And it is not unlikely that we wouldn't have those in some of our own program guidelines if we were to develop a pool of money, because you have to have some way to show that there was a need for the grant or loan, depending on what program it is, So there are times that we may develop our own set of program guidelines. With our IRP revolving loan fund, those originate through the USDA dollars. We do have a work plan that identifies some of that as well. So it may be possible, but in this particular case, it is tied back to that small cities and the Minnesota deed money.
Just kind of going off what you said, Amy, I think that there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of businesses that could really benefit from these things, and so it would be nice to see this on the website.
Yes.
Clearly outlined what the expectations and what the things are that people need to bring forward in order to go through this, because I think, it seems like maybe there wasn't a good understanding, and there was a lot of gray area, and unfortunately, because maybe some of these individuals were not truly explained what was needed and how things should have happened, even in the case of the Eagles, that if we could have like very detailed step-by-step instructions that allow people to truly understand the application process.
Yeah.
And so they could be successful at reacquiring those loans in the future.
I would like to get on our website, which we will be getting a new website very soon, which is very exciting. I would like to see a page where we can give maybe some one-pagers on some of these programs and then a link to the application and instructions so that you can find it easily, follow the process, have contact information on us. But we need to have some things we can post up on our Facebook and our website to advertise some of the programs that we offer. And I do think part of it has been lack of education, lack of communicating effectively out what the programs are. We need to clearly identify what projects are eligible for those so that someone can look easily and see maybe where their project fits in with one of our programs or Cheetah's programs if there's any over there. So we're gonna try to work on doing a better job of getting that information out and then instructions, contact information if someone has a question.
Are we the physical host for this still? Is that the way it is? But yet, the small business or the city's grant thing, which is, was it Mike, out of Erskine or Mentor? Does he take care of that still, or do we take care of it
On
in-house?
some of we've applied for different small cities development grant programs before. When we apply as a city, I know we've done the downtown, I think we did 2 sweeps through the downtown area. The last one was administered through Northwest Multi-County, so the city engaged them to administer those. Once that grant closes and the administration fee is deducted for Northwest Multi-County, we received the payments that they had received, and now any ongoing payments come back to the city and go back into our revolving loan fund.
So they don't have anything to do with it anymore, as far as any bookkeeping or
Right, we currently.
status of the process?
Yep,
or-
we do not have any open grants right now through the Small Cities Development Program that's being administered by someone else. So the last one was closed. We have the closeout documents and the funds were transferred over. We can apply again, you just have to kind of have a good plan on where you want to go. I understand on the second opportunity for downtown, there were some people that weren't eligible because they already had a mortgage with a loan through the state dollars, and so we missed a little bit of opportunity there, I think, and had to send some of those dollars back. So we need to be really thinking carefully about it. It can be a residential area, it can be a commercial area. There's a couple different things we were just looking at today that are types of projects that are eligible for that. So it kind of works 2 different ways. We can apply ourselves through the state to host then another grant program with a specific scope, or we also then administer our small cities revolving fund that's just tied to some of the criteria of that state program.
Over the years, I know there's been some dry years, but there's been a lot of years where it's not even touched hardly. I don't care what the amount is we have right now, but from here on out, I mean, so we can make that, so we let the public know in the business or whatever that we do have this much money available in the process of doing that with instructions, because it sounds like it's pretty complicated. You need taxes, you need this, and this.
Yeah, we
So
need
it's
to
a
have a nice checklist so someone could look at it and understand what they need to start gathering as part of that application, and then ask us questions on some of the more complicated.
I think also just for the sake of transparency, because I think that's really been, the key word of the last year, is for people to truly understand why they do or don't qualify, or what the qualifications are, I think is also going to be helpful in the long run for how we we do business and how we provide those opportunities.
And like Steve, they will, like multi-county, will administer another plan for us if we come up with a plan. And that's something that Amy and I are going to be working on and to see, apply for and see what we can do. Did you have another question, Delane?
No, I just wanted to get that out, that why, I wanted, like Christie said, transparency as to why one was granted, or why we're gonna grant this one and why the other one was not. It's the.
And primarily, if the work is already done, they're not showing a financial need to have the grant if they could afford to have the work done. You know, they have to show the need in these applications, and when they go through it, that why they're applying for it.
All right, no, I appreciate your answers, thank you.
Yep.
This was the second round of this. Didn't we do one in rehab kind of thing in a neighborhood?
You did, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
Amy talked
I
about.
think
Minnesota
there's-
Deed did 3 different rounds in Crookston, and the last 2 were in downtown.
There has been a residential, and I do not know off the top of my head what area that was. I can look.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Ward 4.
Okay. So there has been, and residential rehab is one, commercial improvement is one, there's a couple of eligible, and there's a listing on their website of what projects we can, there's even some public infrastructure need that can be applied for.
Their website, we put out public that tells you what you have to do just to apply, so they can look at that and say, I already had it, but can I get another one? Do I need, you know, what needs you need to have in order, so they can look at it and say, decide themselves if it's.
Yes.
An FAQ.
Yes, and that's what we're gonna try to do, is give a kind of a one-pager that describes it, and then a link to some more in-depth instruction. It's a little bit different on the criteria when we apply as a city, will be a little bit different than what an individual or a commercial operation would need to look at, and we're gonna make sure that both of those are identified if they wanna look and see if they qualify, or their project qualifies for the revolving loan dollars.
So right now, there's no specific, like before, it was in Ward 4, and it had to be housing, and it had to be, you know, not multi-housing or whatever. There's no specific area in town that's qualified for this right now, or certified. It's anybody can apply?
Our revolving loan funds, correct, are not tied to those specific scopes or projects. If the city chooses to apply again for another round, so let's just use the last one as an example, was the downtown. So they identified the area, that someone could apply for a loan under that. It'll be different where we don't have to separate that out when it's coming out of our revolving loan fund that we've built up from repayments through that program.
I'm just thinking, like, back when they had this, it's been probably 8 years ago or so down in the woods.
I think it was 2012, does that sound right, maybe?
Okay, 9 years?
Yeah, I
that's
think
pretty
that was,
close.
yeah.
Anyway, there might be people there that they looked into it, they applied for it, but at the particular time, couldn't afford to pay back the other half.
Right.
And so instead of getting the free half and having to pay half, that still wasn't in the budget. Or
Right.
maybe now that might have changed for some.
Yeah.
If they know that, if, you know, different employment or, you know.
Absolutely, yep,
there's-
they could certainly, and right now, and we don't have that one pager out, but absolutely reach out to us at the city, and if someone has something like that, let us know, and we will be happy to dig into that and,
Because just for sake of ease of not having, you can go there and say, okay, there's X amount of dollars, it's gotta be for fix up or repair. Your income, if it's less than this or more than this or whatever.
Right.
You know, the first 10 things that
Yeah.
qualifies you, and they go, all right, it's worth it to go
Yep.
back and try and redo this, and I think we can, you know, figure it out, so.
yeah,
Well, for us to apply to do another special deed grant like that, we have to do a survey and find out how many people are interested first before we can even go on. And if we go on and we submit it all, it doesn't mean that the state's gonna grant it, you know.
I'm
think-
talking about the funds that you got
I think
now.
he's talking about
Okay.
the revolving
The
loan,
real- okay.
yeah.
Are those revolving ones, are they income-based? Like the money that you have now?
No, it's not tied like that. It's based upon need.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we, let's say we're gonna go and apply for more funding from the small cities, is that gotta be like either housing or commercial, one or the other? You can't split it up, let's say use some in commercial, some in housing?
My first answer, I don't believe so. I can check on that. I think when you apply, you kind of select, there's a couple different categories. I think public infrastructure and maybe there was like a public facility repair. There's a couple different things. I will check on that to see if you can choose two
Yeah.
different.
If I remember right, when we used to do these, if you put them toward a separate area, you were more of a chance of getting it approved, rather than just
Then
say.
going over like another area again.
Right.
That is
Like, if you
probably
said
true.
ward whatever, rather than the whole town. Then
Mhm.
you had more of a chance of getting it approved.
Well, yeah, but in our situation, we've got at least one of our wards that's both residential and commercial. So I was just
And I
kind of
think
curious.
I will
at that
check on
time
that.
They did specify either housing or business.
I know our last one was, I just saw the agreement today was for commercial.
Yep.
That last one through downtown was just for the commercial properties, but I can check on that and see.
There is, just for people's reference, there is monies available as of right now for repairs,
Yes.
residential or
Mhm.
commercial.
Yeah.
All right, kind of. Any further discussion on the resolution approving Eagle Small Cities Development Loan? Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Erickson,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Ed Brunton,
Aye.
Melby,
Aye.
Surety.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. This brings us to reports and staff recommendations. Amy?
Let me find my paper. Okay, wrote myself some notes.
that'd be great.
I will be brief today in the spirit of getting home and getting warm. First, congratulations to Lieutenant Selzler. I'm really excited about that. I think it's important when we're determining who the leaders of our city teams will be to make sure that it's a good fit. I think Lieutenant Selzler is a good fit with our police department, with our community, and I think he will be a really great addition to our department head team. He's already been attending with us a little bit, especially in Chief's absence, so we are looking forward to the next 2 months of them working really closely together, and we will likely start to see some handoffs and transitions, and the rest of the city department heads and myself will be there to support that in any way we can. I did have a brief meeting last week with the Ag Innovation campus team, just for a brief update on their project. Talked a little bit about some of the housing inventory and what their needs may be. They're starting to think about, hiring, where their people will stay, where their construction workers may stay, so we're starting those conversations. And I just want to say thank you to our Parks and Rec and our Public Works staff that have been working long, cold hours to keep our streets and sidewalks clear for us. And thank you to our residents. I've seen a lot of people out shoveling and blowing snow today. So try to be safe and make room for your workers, and let us know by calling City Hall if anyone has an issue. But thank you to the crews that have been putting in extra early and late hours, helping keep our streets and sidewalks clear. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Amy. We'll start with Paul tonight.
The farewell tour.
How many meetings?
The farewell tour.
Just briefly, I too want to thank the city crews and the park department for the streets and the sidewalks. And on that note, our guys have been working on what we call snowbirds already in the residential areas. So, and it's difficult. So the other thing I just want to mention with that for the public is if your car does get plowed in or the snow plowed around it in the residential area, you really should be cleaning that spot out yourself with the snow blower, shovel, or whatever, because it's not always guaranteed the city crew is going to come back anytime soon, especially when we have these multiple snow events. So, yeah, with that, we try to educate first. Some get educated every year, And then we might warn, but if they're frequent flyers after a while, they end up getting towed. But we go through a whole process with that, so. Other than that, any questions on it?
You have to warn them so many times before you told them?
No, we don't have any set guidelines. We're just trying to be friendly, trying to be workable with them. You know, and some of them have good excuses. They might be working different hours, whatever, so they just need to be reminded and told, yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Tim?
All right, just a couple things here. We're going to start our hiring process tomorrow morning for our new full-time firefighter to replace Kent. We'd have written tests are going to be held at 9 o'clock. Physical capabilities tests are going to be held at 12:30, and interviews starting at 2:30. So we have some candidates coming in, and hopefully we can pick a really good one out of that group. They look like they're pretty good. Toys for Tots went really well. It was a good success, thanks to City Hall staff and Tina and all of her hard work, and the citizens, obviously, for their contributions. So that's in the books for another year. With the recent snowfalls, we'd really appreciate a little help keeping clean around our fire hydrants. The house you might be saving might be your own, so please give us a hand a little bit and keep those hydrants cleaned out. That would be awesome. On just a real quick note, I'll take any chance I can to promote CO and smoke detectors. Everybody's heard about the recent tragedies we've had around here in Bemidji and Moorhead. Not saying that smoke detectors and CO detectors could have saved those lives, but it sure would have helped. So if anybody has any issues, we've been getting support from the citizens. If you can't afford them or can't put them in, please call the fire department, and we're going to make sure that you have them in your homes to keep you safe. We'll do it one way or the other. We're going to make sure our citizens are safe. Congratulations to Lieutenant on your new promotion. Be a pleasure working with you, and thanks, Paul, for all the years you've given us too. So, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thanks, Tim. Brian, anything? All right, thank you. Chad, anything?
Thank you, Your Honor. IT department is working very hard with our managed service partners and our vendors to be ready to roll out our new website, as Amy mentioned. Also our Office 365 migration, and also preparing job description for the hiring of our new IT technician.
Thank you. Brandon?
The filter rehab at the water plant, they are waiting for the paint to cure, and then they'll do their holiday testing to make sure that the paint job is up to snuff, and then they've been getting semi-loads of filter media, so they'll fill it back in with media and move on to the second one here, hopefully after the new year. Been busy cleaning snow. I don't know, we just tried to make sure that if I had any regrets this time, it was because I sent the guys out too early. So it went well. With the snow coming tomorrow, I told the guys to just do, a quick pass through town. We didn't spend a lot of time making sure that the corners were super clean because we're gonna have to go out again tomorrow. So if the intersections look a little sloppy, I'll call it intentional. So, parking lots downtown are kind of troublesome to clean. I'm gonna try and figure out a way to, at least the old Wayne Hotel parking lot's not bad because it doesn't get utilized as heavy as, I'll call it, the Times parking lot. The Times parking lot has so many cars in it, we can't really ever get in there to get the spots clean. So I think we're gonna have to close that for a day, put signs up, give them 24 hours notice that they gotta get their car out of there, and we'll go in and scrape it down and get it clean for them. We get a lot of complaints that it's really full of snow, but we never have an opportunity to get in there without any cars. So I'll be working on that. We are we just started advertising for street maintenance, so we're looking for a street maintenance employee. I think it closes in 3 weeks, I believe, so. Darren, congrats. I need your cell phone number. Paul's probably back there. No. But that's all I got.
Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Brandon. Jake, anything?
Thank you. We put some new tables, pub tables up at the CSC in the lobbies. It'd be like on the blue rink side facing. They're just standard tables that you can, they're about 16 inches wide, and it's just a spot to put a pop or a coffee or popcorn or just somewhere to kind of lean over and watch a game. Those are ready, those are done, so thank you Travis Oliver and the students that did a great job working on those and getting them done before the new year. Just a little bit of a pool update. We did notice some light fixtures that were out, 4 in the ceiling and 4 inside the pool. The ones inside the pool are ready, they're done, but the ones in the ceiling we're waiting for. They're not on, I think they're on back order is what I was told. So that's the pool update. And then we're just starting to get ready for spring and summer. Start getting ready for dates and times and activities that we're going to be doing and start now, and that way we're ready to go because spring will be here soon. So, and congratulations, Lieutenant. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake.
With that pool deal there, did they scope the rest of the drain pipes and stuff to see there was nothing coming up?
Yep, everything on the other side was good. So they finished that a couple weeks ago, and all the piping and everything that we got fixed is done, and yeah, so we just.
So the light fixtures aren't holding up filling up the pool and using it then, or?
The what? I'm sorry?
The light fixtures that we're waiting on, that's not holding up the hole, filling the pool and using it, or?
We have to wait to fill the pool to get the light fixtures in the ceiling, because they're gonna have to put a 2-man lift in to get up to the ceiling, to put them in.
Okay, so no, they're in back order and don't know when.
I was told 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that was on Friday of last week. So when I talked to Terry Electric, Valley Electric is who's working on the project, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Rich, anything from WSN?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Tom, anything?
Just congratulations to Darren and Chris for the school, and thanks for all your work too, Corey. And Happy New Year to everybody.
Blaine?
Yep, same thing. Congratulations, Chris. Congratulations, Darren. And thanks, Brandon. I mean, this snow event, from all accounts, from everything I've seen and heard, everything went off really well, and I didn't get any complaints my phone wasn't ringing for all your good work that you guys did, so thank you.
Thanks, Delane. Don?
I'd like to thank Mr. Trosted for the hard work he does at Highland Middle School. I worked out there for many years and know the struggles that they have once in a while, and to get to be a best school is really an honor. Thank you for the hard work. It must have been those Santa bears that we gave away out there, right?
Okay.
Anyway, congratulations, and then I want to welcome Lieutenant Darren Silzer also. You've been welcomed a lot. I see you around, and I saw you today a couple times, and he's on the job, so very good. Welcome to the city of Crookston as a police chief. Thank you. And everybody else, have a happy holiday season and a new year, and the council, everyone in the council, let's get together and really do the job. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Clayton?
Congratulations to the lieutenant, well deserved, and everybody stays safe with snow removal and stuff like that. I know it's a lot of extra work, and take the extra time to make sure it's done safely.
Thanks, Clayton. Steve, anything?
Just the public for supporting downtown Crookston. Friday and Saturday both were busy days downtown, and it's good to see people shopping locally. And congratulations, Darren and Chris. I hope Darren can find a lieutenant as good as he is. He's an amazing person, and I think he's gonna do a great job. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Steve. Christie?
I feel like a broken record, but congratulations, Darren. Congratulations, Chris. I am very excited to hear that. I think, you know, one of the biggest things to really drawing people to towns is outstanding education. And so I'm excited to see that you guys are recognized, and it sounds like you have a lot of great people on your team. So keep up the good work. Brandon, I mean, good job. I haven't had anybody call me either. And just driving around town, you know, it's been pretty decent for what we're doing with. So I appreciate the hard work that you and your team is doing as well. So, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Thanks, Christie. Wayne?
All right, we'll say ditto to all that, right?
All right.
And then I want to mention, Jake mentioned spring. I think that is best. And then I've got a question though, and probably Brandon. Today I had a gal that she brought her husband to dialysis, and coming back got stuck in the alley. And so we tried to get her out, and it was kind of a mess. I was glad she had already dropped him off at dialysis. And then Joby came by and actually dragged her out of there for free. He said, "Merry Christmas," you know. But we were wondering is there any way that if some of these folks had problems that they, you know, they go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If there's a snow event, is there a way that certain people could have, how do I want to say it, an emergency type of, it's just off the beaten path of Woodland, but I know.
Do you mean like set based on a medical need as their street or alley a priority?
Right, you know, if you had 5 people that said it in town, and after you got the main emergencies done, if they're down in that neighborhood, that maybe they could hit that one first or something.
We'll visit about that.
Yeah, I told her no promises, but I'd bring it up.
Okay, and were you done? I'm sorry, I blurted
Where-
out.
was I
I'm
done?
sorry, Yeah.
Yeah, Happy New
Okay,
Year.
I'm sorry, I was blurting out.
Your Honor?
I was gonna remind the public, and maybe for some that haven't seen on our Facebook page, Brandon did create a snowplow map that will show you what we've determined to be the emergency routes, and then maybe the main routes, and then followed by residential areas. So take a look at that. I've been trying to put it, a link on our Facebook pages each time we post about snow plowing. Happy to send it out if anyone wants one, but kind of check that. Brandon will keep it updated, so each time you access the link, if there's ever a change made, and he's coming up to the podium.
I guess, Wayne, the one thing I want to say about that is it's difficult to it's difficult to target one area, because, you know, we can go and we can plow that alley out, but then if we do the streets, you know, we try and do the main streets and then the alleys. You know, if you plow the main street after the alley is plowed, then you're pushing 50 feet of snow to the alley. So then there's, you know, a 4-foot berm at the alley. And it's just, I guess the one issue I see with that is maintaining an accurate list that, in my experience, has, you know, it's going to be hard to have a black and white criteria to that, because there's so many needs of special needs that could fall underneath that. And, you know, it already takes, you know, if we have a really good day with nothing breaking down, you know, we're lucky to plow the whole city in 10 hours. And I could see that adding, you know, a couple hours to a plow too. So, I mean, is it unrealistic to ask them to park on the street instead of going through the alley, I guess, you know?
Well, it depends on their situation of the person that's going to dialysis, if they're in a wheelchair, if they're what. And I'm gonna recommend to them too, that they can call Tri-Valley on those certain days and maybe use the bus and have that come and help load up too. So just
That's
a
just
thought, and I
my-
told them I'd bring it up.
Yeah, just my initial thoughts.
Okay.
Your Honor?
All right.
Your Honor, one last
Yes,
comment.
Don.
I forgot one last comment I had made, I want to make to the Chief Biermeyer, for all the years of service that you for Crookston. You've done a great job, and you're really appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Don. How many official meetings left, Paul? Why, 4?
He was a little quick with
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering, the reason I ask, I don't know if I should be calling on you or Darren in the next few meetings here, so.
Depends who shows up.
There you go.
You can
Gonna-
just say chief and see which one of them comes up.
Probably gonna play lame duck here, so. But Paul mentioned that you had nothing to, wondering what you're gonna do in retirement. Well, you got a perfect setup. You can always sell Christmas trees at Fairfax next winter. So a couple hot toddies with it. But anyway, thanks for your service. Darren, welcome. It'll be it's a great fit for our city to have you as the next chief. Also, hats off to Chris. Pass it on to your staff. Excellent job. Brandon, thank your city crew again. You got another little front coming tomorrow again, but thanks for all you do. Tina, you're more than welcome to come to more council meetings. Good to see you here tonight. So, there is, everybody, Happy New Year. Nothing else to come before council, no ways and means. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.